this building this year. So here's how things have shaken out in this Albany 2 regional. UCLA out-muscled the 15 seed California Baptist. Just before that, Creighton hit 15 threes, scored 87 points, and they blew past UNLV. So these two meet in the round of 32 with the former Penn Quaker, Kim Adams, Kevin Fitzgerald with you. So this UCLA team turned in one of its better regular seasons in recent program history. They were powered all year by their all-conference force on the inside. That's Lauren Betts. She was out on Saturday with the right foot injury, making her tournament debut with this team today.
Yeah, certainly a huge boost for the Bruins at 6'7", having their leading scorer and rebounder back in the lineup. They got a big lift from Charisma Osborne and Kiki Rice in the first round, but you mentioned it, this Creighton team can shoot the lights out. The most threes they've ever made in an NCAA tournament game in the first round, 15 on 44% shooting from deep.
It was impressive. So they scored nearly 90 in that round of 64 win against UNLV. There's Betts, number 51 in the white. Her partner this year, Kiki Rice, was excellent, as you mentioned, a 20-point game in that first-round victory over CBU. Away we go inside Pauley Pavilion. UCLA, they earned the right, of course, to host the first two games of this pod. And they play in a building where they're 15-1 on the year. So Lauren Betts, by the way, with the first look on that side for the Bruins, left that shot short. So here is the Creighton starting five for Jim Flannery. This is brought to you by Capital One. The all-senior starting five, and they do a whole bunch of that. They'll cut and screen you to death. Emma Ronsick with the first basket.
And that's a great start for her. Emma Ronsick was scoreless in the first half against UNLV and then erupted for 23 second-half points, so she gets going a little earlier.
There's Lauren Betts, 6'7". The sophomore has truly blossomed this year in her first season in Westwood. Corey Close's starting five. Again, Betts was out on Saturday with the right foot injury. And Close had mentioned she was optimistic she was going to be ready to go, at least for this one, in the round of 32. This unit, of course, brought to you by Capital One. What changes now with the 6'7" Betts in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious on paper. They get a lot taller. It changes how Creighton is going to have to defend them completely, and it gives them a huge anchor in the paint, but they don't need it on that offensive possession as Creighton starts just off like they did in the first round. Lauren Jensen.
Yeah, we were trying to warn you. Jensen, by the way, went for 25, hit 5 triples. Those 25 for Jensen, number 15 in the powder blue. The most for a Creighton player ever in this tournament, at least since 1999. There's a foul on that drive inside. That's the first on Molly Mogensen. There's Jim Flannery. He's spent all but 2 of the last 41 years at that university. Player, assistant, now head coach. Kim, he's coached nearly 700 games as the Creighton head man. We've got a tie-up in the backcourt there. Good effort by both Osborne and Jensen on the floor to force the tie-up. Ball back to the Bruins. Corey Close, meanwhile, has guided his team now to 7 of the last 8 tournaments, and you see they've been to 4 Sweet 16s recently. They're trying to go to another one.
Yeah, this UCLA team so battle-tested, 8 top 25 wins over the season. That's the most in the NCAA this year.
Won 13 games in the gauntlet that was the Pac-12. After the miss from long range, UCLA the other way. This is Rice, their dynamic sophomore point guard. Into the paint now, Best. That is a deep post catch.
So that could be problematic potentially all evening long for the Blue Jays, a smaller team. That time it was Mallory Brake caught behind 6'7" Lauren Betts. Mallory Brake just 6 feet tall.
Tallest player on the floor for CU is just 6'1". That's it. This is Brake. Couple of dribbles, shovels it right back to Jensen. Jensen free for a moment and buries another. That's 2 for Lauren Jensen.
And you cannot lose, really, Lauren Jensen, Morgan Molly, most of the Creighton players on the three-point line. You cannot allow that much time and space, especially for someone who went 5 of 7 in the first round win.
Creighton, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the nation. They make 9 a game. Charisma Oz, that triple short. Jensen on the move. Ronsick drive and kick back out to Mogensen. She's been the engine for this 26-win Blue Jay team. They've been firmly in the upper echelon of the Big East now for years. This is their 3rd straight women's championship appearance. That's a record. Brake looking for the cutter, into the paint herself, fires it up. Rebound down to Osborne. Remember, she had 15 of those in the win against CBU.
And that's a defensive possession that UCLA loves, keeping it in the hands of Mallory Brake. Really the non-offensive threat, but quite the offensive threat on the other end. For Creighton, their focus is trying to push Lauren Betts out, get her touches beyond the block. That has not been the case on the past 2 possessions down the floor. Yeah,
Ronsick has had her hands full, so Betts has 6. 3 of 3 from the floor to start, and all 3 touches right underneath the basket. There's a foul on UCLA.
At 6'7", you simply can't allow Lauren Betts to get this deep of a post up. Emma Ronsick just 6'1", just a simple catch and turn. So for Creighton, that's going to be a problem all evening if they don't find a way to push her up the line a little bit, force her to catch the ball a little bit closer to the mid post or even the elbow area.
Well, it's been clearly evident why the field goal percentage is 4th in the nation. 15 a game this year, 9 rebounds a game, couple of blocks a night for Betts, who last year only played about 10 minutes a game at Stanford, hit the portal, transferred, and has totally blossomed here at UCLA. Lena Sonntag takes her place momentarily. It's Creighton, though, in front. Just started in Westwood. 3rd ever meeting between these two. There's Morgan Molly. Missed that one wide left, and Gabriela Jaquez secures the board. Here's Osborne. Osborne lost it. The veteran on the floor. Jensen rips it away. Haran inside the Ronsick. That's an off-balance fadeaway. Nicely done.
And a nice attack from Creighton with Lauren Betts on the bench, catching a breather. So a much smaller UCLA lineup. They forced some switches, and Emma Ronsick had a guard on her. Nice little fadeaway.
In the round of 64, outside of a clunky first 15 minutes, UCLA out-muscled the 15-seed CBU. Scored 84, and a big run late in the 2nd quarter propelled them to a win. Late shot clock offense. Did Cameron Brown get it off in time? Safe A-show, one of our officials says shot clock violation. So they wipe the basket away, and we take a timeout with Creighton ahead by 4. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Listen, you pick up a win in the first round of this tournament. Coach Flannery, the grace post game in the locker room.
You care about each other enough, and you know when to lift her up, okay, and she knows when to lift you up, okay, and that's what you got to have tonight, right? Embrace the difficult, okay, embrace the stress. That's a great team you're playing with, okay, but that's what makes it more worthwhile when we come in here in 2 hours. Okay, let's go. Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah. She's a boy to Wilkins. Let's go home.
Great access pregame inside the Creighton locker room as they're trying to march on to just their 2nd Sweet 16 ever. They did that 2 years ago. Remember, they knocked out Iowa and Caitlin Clark in this round and ultimately reached the Elite 8 that year. With a lot of the same players, right? That did it a few years ago.
Yeah, they've been in this position, but how about the moves from Coach Flannery? Got to shout him out for the effort there. I'm not sure if the rhythm is all the way there, but he gave it his all.
Yeah, effort, hard work. There's a turnover, by the way. Good defense that time by UCLA. Rice now attacks the basket and draws the foul. So Kiki Rice is going back to a place where she lived on Saturday. It's the free throw line.
And this is what UCLA wants to do, push in transition. So far, no one has scored outside of Lauren Betts. She's on the bench catching a breather, but Kiki Rice so good at getting downhill, attacking, and you're right, 9 for 9 from the line in that first round win.
She's the sophomore from right outside of Washington, D.C. Such a dynamic player. And boy, based on what we just saw there, it seems like that's exactly what her head coach wants from her today. Stay in attack mode.
Yeah, be the aggressor, something we heard Corey Close mention at shoot-around today to her whole team. And she said for all 40 minutes, she said even in shoot-around, be aggressive in every single thing we do. And that was quite an aggressive take from Kiki.
Roncic has already hit a couple on the baseline. Rebound to Jaquez. Jensen went for the steal. Osborne the spin. Osborne out to Rice. Wants it. Yeah.
That looked pure from Kiki Rice. We mentioned she's probably at her best right now going downhill, but she's certainly getting more comfortable from distance. She's got a really nice pull-up jumper, and that time showing the range.
She has been the engine all year for this 26-win UCLA team. Oh, count the basket. Jensen going to the line. Jensen with a fine and fast start. She's got 10.
And that's the pick your poison when you're defending Creighton. Lauren Jensen has already splashed a couple of threes in this game, so you really overplay her, and she's able to cut back door, curl around. Molly Mogensen, by the way, on the assist. She had a career-high 9 assists in the first meeting. So if you cut hard, Molly Mogensen is going to find you.
Lauren Jensen spin, one of the premier scorers in the Big East for now several years. 6th in the league, averaging about 17.5 points per game. So she has been a prolific scorer at the top of scouting reports for a while now. Very creative shot taker. So 11 for Jensen already on the heels of the 25-point game. Betts, just muscles her way in, couldn't get it to go. The offensive board and the stick back.
Lauren Betts now up to 8 points, and again, just letting her catch it right beneath the rim. Creighton's going to have to find a way to push her up the line. She's going to make that 9 times out of 10.
Foul on Jaquez there. The size advantage is just immense here.
Yeah, 6'7", over 6'1". You could see Morgan Molly was starting to try to dig down a little bit, but came a little bit too late. And then you get her to miss the shot, but she's able to just overpower everyone and grab the O board.
So 13 up late in the first quarter. Mogensen looking for somebody. This is Molly, has the smaller Jones on her, so that time Creighton exploits the matchup.
And that's a mismatch that Creighton worked on in shoot-around today, trying to seek that out. Putting London Jones in a switch situation, knowing that UCLA switches just about everything. So they get Morgan Molly, who has a great inside-outside package, posting up on the block.
Molly's somebody who goes for 15 a game. Osborne watches that one rattle in and out. And you can see why UCLA is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the nation very quickly in this matchup.
Yeah, UCLA #1 in the nation in terms of rebounding margin. They out-rebound their opponents by about 14 per game. You can't jump with Lauren Betts. You have to get a body into her.
Roncic working hard. Betts double team. Back out to Jaquez. Sets the feet. That one's down and out. Rice got a hand on it. So now it's a third look on this trip down the floor. Betts, another.
Too easy. She had the backside seal. Really nice looking and angle from Gabriela Jaquez on the assist across the court.
So they get a couple of offensive boards on that one trip down the floor. Betts into double figures now on 5 of 7 shooting. A trip to the Sweet 16 on the line today in Westwood. That turnover gives it back to the Bruins.
And this is just so difficult to guard when UCLA overloads one side so that there's really no help coming from the backside. And again, a perfect feed in from Jaquez. Nice steal from Lauren Betts.
So now Molly trying to body with her in the paint. Catches it about 6 feet away. Turns, goes over the left shoulder. Jaquez another board, puts it up. She's fouled. That's now 4 offensive rebounds for UCLA. That's the first foul on Molly. Jaquez has free throws.
And a defensive possession does not end with a missed shot attempt. A defensive possession ends with a successful box out and rebound. And right now, Creighton is not doing that. That time they actually pushed Lauren Betts out a little bit. That was one of her worst misses of the day, but then they allow Jaquez to just fly in for the second chance.
Look at what Jaquez did in the first round. The versatile, do-everything warrior with Betts out, goes for 19 and 7. So this Wednesday night's star-studded ESPN NBA doubleheader. It features the Clippers taking on the Sixers at 7:30 Eastern, followed by the Nuggets and Suns. Coverage tips with NBA countdown at 7. Molly launches high archer. She splashes it.
Morgan Molly, the lefty sniper. She gets in a zone when she is just ready to catch and shoot like that. Zero hesitation. She can be dangerous when she gets hot.
This is now London Jones on a step back, down and out. And that's a foul on Betts. That time goes over Molly's back. First foul on the sophomore Lauren Betts.
And I think it goes without saying, if you could get Lauren Betts into foul trouble, that is certainly to your advantage. If you could be physical with her on a post-up and get her to come over the back like that a couple times. And it's now in the bonus for UCLA, so Creighton will take 2 free throws.
Two free throws, pardon, on that 5th foul in each quarter. Morgan Molly is the most reliable free throw shooter on this team. The senior from Creighton, Nebraska, 91% at the line this year. You're going to hear me say senior quite a bit. It's the all-senior starting 5 for Creighton, and many of them have been playing together for 3-4 years, which is unprecedented. Jones wants 3. Left that one short. Tip back out to Osborne. Just that long reach on the interior by UCLA, extending possessions. Betts, close range, yes.
And that's what happens when you don't defensive rebounds. That is priority number 1 right now for Creighton in terms of adjustments needed, securing the first defensive rebound.
Now, Creighton had trouble with Desiree Young, UNLV's interior threat, on Saturday. The good news was they hit 15 threes, so UNLV was playing from behind for the entirety of that game. And goes without saying, a similar quality shooting night would be of help for Creighton today. About a 4.5-second differential between shot and game clock. Betts couldn't get it to her, so that's a turnover. 8 seconds here for Creighton. Jensen in a rush. Jensen on the pull-up. Left it short. 2 seconds. Now 1. First quarter in the books. It's the Blue Jays with a 1-point lead after 10 minutes.
For the Bruins, Lauren Betts back in the lineup, and she is hot. 12 points already for 6'7" Lauren Betts.
All right, so it's time for tonight's Need to Know. It's brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. These two have met in this tournament once before. 6 years ago in this very round in this building. UCLA, powered by Jordan Canada, who was a first-round draft pick a couple of months later after these two met. They blew out Creighton in a game that was never particularly close. UCLA won by 22 and not only marched on to the Sweet 16 that year, ultimately reached the Elite 8. And look who's back in the building for this one.
Love that. Jordan Canada doing her thing in the WNBA, one of the all-time great point guards for UCLA in the Pac-12. Part of those NCAA tournament runs that we have talked about with UCLA. Great to see her back supporting the program.
So do these numbers, by the way, for Canada not sum up the way she was remembered here? 21 points, 8 assists, 5 steals as well in that game. The 2-time Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. So UCLA has won both meetings in this series. Corey Close's team trying to stay in the moment, earn the right to just play one more. That's been her mantra. Let's just keep earning the right to play one more game in this tournament.
Yeah, Corey Close was candid, though, in her post-game presser the other night when someone asked about Creighton. She said, as soon as that bracket came out, I could say if we ended up facing each other, this was going to be a troubling team. So far, Creighton, a really good first quarter, despite them not being able to stop Lauren Betts.
UCLA, just quite simply, one of the better teams in America this year. Finished second in the Pac-12. Reached the semis of that tournament. Won 8 games against ranked opponents. Jensen tosses that one up, and Betts pulls down another rebound. So that's 5 boards to go along with the dozen that Betts has on this end of the floor.
And that was really well defended by London Jones, just sticking in front of Lauren Jensen.
That 3 is offline and off of Dugalich's fingertips and out of bounds. So ball back to Creighton. You bring up a fine point, though. So you look at these two teams. 2 seed, 7 seed. Judging by the final AP poll that was released, this is a top 25 battle, if that means anything to anyone. Creighton has been a team inside the top 25 for much of the year. UCLA never fell any further than 12th in the nation.
Yeah, Creighton had a surprising semifinal exit to Georgetown in the Big East tournament, but prior to that, they had only had 2 losses since mid-December, both of those to the UConn Huskies.
Oh, Molly, great cut in the vision from Ronsick. It's 2020 for the bucket.
That's where this team can burn you. They are always moving, always screening, always cutting.
Jones's 3 is offline. UCLA now just 1 of 6 from beyond the arc. A little shaky from beyond the arc to get things going Saturday as well.
And so far, the defensive rebounding has picked up for Creighton out of the timeout at the mid-quarter break.
Lead feed, Dugalich, knocked out by Jensen, so good recognition to get her hands on it.
Creighton offense has been on points. Can't really see it develop there, but Morgan Molly coming over from the weak side. And how about Emma Ronsick as the center, out on the perimeter, perfectly delivering that fireball of a pass.
That was a laser, and she secures another rebound. Ronsick, versatile inside-out threat. Senior from Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Going a little point center right now, bringing the ball up.
So you're saying just watch the motion, watch the cutting and the screening, yeah?
Yeah, you have to pressure UCLA so much to know if they're going to switch. If they're not, they attack these screens. Lauren Jensen talked about her 3-point shooting prowess, but she's got the full package of skills. She can have that mid-range. She can get to the rack. An excellent free throw shooter. She's a problem.
Jensen in some sort of a groove this week at Westwood. Rice went one way, Dugalich threw it the other, and there's another giveaway. It's now 5 turnovers for the Bruins.
And we'll keep an eye on how they respond to this. We've talked with Corey Close throughout the last couple days. She is fixated on how her team responds out of a play like that. Their next play speed, I think they call it. It's analytics they measure. They try to get a stop after a turnover.
Creighton shooting very efficiently on this end of the floor. Mogensen not going to have too many more open looks tonight.
That's certainly not the response. Corey Close going right to the bench after somebody neglected to stop the ball. We talk about the big 3 with Creighton, but Molly Mogensen can be just as potent of a scorer.
The Blue Jays on an 11-2 run. Rice can't answer from deep, and Horan, who just came in off the bench a few moments ago, gets tied up underneath. The possession arrow does favor Creighton, though.
UCLA had 5 offensive rebounds in the first quarter through 3 minutes. They don't have a single one here. I'd imagine that was a focus in Jim Flannery's huddle. Much more attentive to boxing out and attacking that rebound.
So you just saw Cameron Brown come in. Lauren Betts, again, the 6'7" all-conference star, back on the floor. Trying to harass Ronsick here. That's pretty. Timeout UCLA. And Creighton takes a 9-point lead after a 13-2 run. The Blue Jays in charge in Westwood. So let's check out how Creighton is fueling the run. It's brought to you by Wendy's. This trio of Jensen, Molly, and Ronsick. They're the only trio of players on one team in America that all average 15 or more per game. And you can see that tonight. That top number is what they've done today compared to what the rest of the team has averaged this year, points per game wise.
Yeah, these three are serious. Emma Ronsick right there, and they all do a little something different. First of all, they can all shoot the three. Emma Ronsick is really the force on the interior. We've seen her take it right to the forwards. Lauren Jensen, she could shoot the three or really break you down off the dribble. And then Morgan Molly, we've seen it, has the ability at 6'1" to take it into the post. I mean, that is a lot to try to defend and handle, especially with the way that Creighton is constantly moving and screening.
Well, and that action has fueled a 13-2 Creighton run. And so the Blue Jays have a 9-point lead in Westwood.
And big adjustment here. They're now really fully doubling Lauren Betts, but Kiki Rice finds a way to exploit that and sneak inside. But that possession, they had a defender on the front and the back of Lauren Betts with her efficiency.
Ronsick, 4-3.
That's what we talk about. So that time, you're forcing Lauren Betts at 6'7" to pull herself all the way out to the three-point line where she probably would rather not be. And Emma Ronsick sticks it.
It's a double-digit lead for the 7 seed in the Albany 2 regional. Ronsick now with 7. Creighton has hit 4 triples. Osborne trying to answer. That's pure.
And UCLA is going to need more of that to really space out the floor, because right now they have not shot the ball well from the perimeter. So that's allowing Creighton to send 2 or 3 at Lauren Betts, who's been the only player to really hurt them up until this point.
Yeah, Kim, that's UCLA's just their 2nd triple. That's it. Creighton has been ultra efficient on this end of the floor. Though the Blue Jays shuffled, Kennedy Townsend that time shuffled her feet, so that's a turnover.
Corey Close has talked about her team's responses out of timeouts. So far, a pretty good response in terms of defensive intensity, getting after it on the offensive glass again. And in her post-game presser, she said, something I'm challenging my team is to make these adjustments on their own in-game, not forcing me to have to deal with it in a timeout.
Osborne blows by break that time, but she's whistled for the foul. So that's the first on Mallory break.
And the UCLA guards have to stay aggressive, because Osborne and Rice, they have a foot speed advantage, an explosion advantage in a lot of these matchups against the Creighton guards, as we saw there.
Betts barges into Molly, that bounces out, and the jump hook won't go.
You see UCLA fully playing off of Mallory break, who's not really an offensive threat. They're keeping a permanent helper in the lane instead of guarding her.
Jensen left the pull-up short. Jaquez on the move. No numbers, though, for UCLA. Past the midway mark in the 2nd. Osborne, or Betts, pass inside to Betts, and she got it to go again.
UCLA has to just keep forcing that in anytime it's single coverage. Emma Ronsick, the center, has now knocked down multiple threes.
She's into double figures now with 10. Jaquez underneath. Jaquez turns, spins, comes down with the rebound. And that'll stay here after the Creighton foul.
We know that all of these Creighton Blue Jays can knock down a 3. The 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. Emma Ronsick, the 5, splashes it. She's up to 10 points. Creighton up over UCLA.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. It's also brought to you by Inspire Sleep Apnea Innovation. No mask, no hose, just sleep.
Well, Kevin, Creighton with an 8-point lead here. Early in this game, they were getting absolutely buried in the paint by Lauren Betts. They were doing one-on-one single coverage. They have adjusted their defense. You see here, there's really two double-teaming her, but a third and a fourth defender really tightly staying in, attached to Lauren Betts. Even as the ball moves around, UCLA has not demonstrated an ability to knock down from the perimeter yet in this game. Just 2 of 9 from 3. So that's allowing Creighton to keep 3 or 4 players almost like a magnet around Lauren Betts. And that's why it's crucial that UCLA gets some success from the perimeter, even if they're attacking out of a closeout. Got to keep that ball moving to try to attack the Creighton guards once they're trying to scramble out of that double, triple, or quadruple team inside.
Well, where does that production need to come from then, outside of Betts?
Yeah, I mean, Kiki Rice, Charisma Osborne, those two have to stay aggressive. And right now, London Jones not in the game, but she is their best threat from three-point land. They really would love to get her going a little bit.
We're past the midway mark in the second quarter. It's been an entertaining first half. Creighton has been ultra efficient shooting the basketball, better than 59% from the floor. UCLA still trying to settle into a groove. Osborne launches, and Mogensen comes down with another rebound.
So that's what Creighton is looking for them to do.
Look how quickly that one developed. So they get out in transition, and Ronsick makes it happen again. Now she has 12.
So she's buried a couple of threes, and then that time just runs rim to rim and able to shoot it over Lauren Betts.
Oh, look who's open. Cameron Brown on the backside there. Nice find by the sophomore.
And that's how you attack out of the double team. You keep moving without the ball, screening for each other, and you make Creighton pay for the defensive decisions they're going to make.
This is Kiani Lockett. Feeds it inside. Molly, the turnaround. That's still free. Mogensen tips it to herself. And so a new 20 for the Blue Jays. Mogensen flashes. There's Jensen now on the attack. Off the window, that's down. Lauren Jensen has displayed a nice array of shot making in this first half.
And that drive comes off of ball movement, unselfish, extra passes from Creighton, and allows Lauren Betts to attack a closeout.
So they're now 60% from the floor. There's a foul away from the ball, and it's a 10-point Creighton lead. Remember, coming up at halftime, we'll have Dove in the studio. UConn marching on earlier today against Syracuse. Another Wolfpack team reaches the Sweet 16. So on the men's and women's tournament, NC State, one of the final 16 standing. After the Brown miss, you know, Creighton, you keep highlighting this, their work on the defensive glass.
Night and day from the opening minutes of the game. There's now an intention of boxing out and attacking.
That's the first foul on Osborne. Just the second team foul on UCLA. The Blue Jays earlier this quarter built a double-digit lead, so they have maintained this 9, 10, 11-point cushion.
They are fully confident, and we've talked about the veteran play. These are, for the most part, 4 or 5 seniors on the floor at a time. They're not afraid. They're not going to back down. They're going to stay in tune with the way they know how to play. It's been impressive.
Top 20 offense. They average close to 80 points per game this year. Ronsick fires, left it short, and then a foul on the loose ball. That's on Santok. So Creighton keeps it.
And now UCLA, the top rebounding team in the country in terms of margin, they're getting a little undisciplined on the boards.
They look maybe a half a step slow. Mogensen for 3. That's short. And Jones, fresh off the bench, now looking to push. London Jones with her eyes up. Osborne feeds Jaquez.
Jaquez was a huge spark in the opening round win. She hasn't really been able to get much offense going.
Jaquez 0 of 3 from the field to start. Osborne looking. Jaquez on the attack. Underneath, the reverse.
They need that. I think Gabriela Jaquez is a big matchup problem in this game because of her length and speed.
Oh, the transition attack again. And it's Kiani Lockett who lays it up and in.
Just no let up for Creighton right now. Give up a bucket. They quickly inbound up the floor. They catch UCLA sleeping.
The Blue Jays in a rhythmic groove right now with a 10-point lead. Jaquez, the catch, puts it up. That's good. So back-to-back baskets for the sophomore from Camarillo, California.
Yeah, Jaquez had 19 when she started in place of Lauren Betts in the first round win. Good to see her get going. She can bring some electricity.
That's an offensive foul. They get Lockett for the illegal screen. And so UCLA takes over now with 51 seconds to go. So Lockett trying to get an explanation. Doesn't like it. Meanwhile, Ronsick takes a seat for the defensive possession. Brake comes back on the floor. Osborne gonna get a little extra work in here.
Hey, if the broom person isn't going to clean it up, Charisma Osborne taking matters into her own hands.
I don't even see, where is that person? We don't have the broom.
They off the clock right now? This is the second round of the NCAA.
Tournament time. A trip to the Sweet 16 on the line today in Westwood. And Creighton has maintained a lead for much of this quarter. After the Rice miss, Molly draws the foul on Rice. So that's the second on UCLA's sophomore point guard.
Well defended by Mallory Brake, 6-foot senior who Jim Flannery considers his best defender. Kiki Rice, there's not many people who can keep her in front, but Mallory Brake at 6 foot stays with her and stays vertical discipline without fouling.
Lauren Betts was the story of that first quarter. Remember, returning from a right foot injury that sidelined her on Saturday. She had 12 points in that first quarter. However, it's been Creighton's effective shooting, particularly from deep in this second quarter, that has allowed them to build at times a double-digit lead. 25 seconds to go. Jensen trying to take the forward off the bounce. The turnaround falls through. Jensen with 17, already at her season average in the first.
Exactly that, just identifying a mismatch, taking a big off the bounce.
Shot clock off, 8 seconds. Brown rolls the layup. That's good. 4 seconds now. Mogensen to Townsend at the horn. It hits the rim. Regardless, Creighton takes an 8-point lead into halftime. Trying to get back to the Sweet 16, a place they were 2 years ago. Let's go to Bristol now. Inside the studio, Elle is standing by. Elle?
Much appreciated.
You are watching the NCAA Women's Championship. It's presented by Capital One. Back inside Pauley Pavilion in Westwood, where the 7 seed, the Creighton Blue Jays, have an 8-point lead over the 2 seed. That's the UCLA Bruins, who are 15-1 in this building this year. It was an entertaining first half with Kim Adams, Kevin Fitzgerald with you. So Creighton at times held a double-digit lead. They shot 59% from the floor. How'd they do it the first half?
Well, they're obviously incredibly efficient. 13 assists, just 4 turnovers, and it hasn't been all about the 3 ball like we saw in the first game. They have just 5 threes. They're getting a nice balance of inside and out. And of course, they have one of the best trios in America. That's Lauren Jensen. She's been on the 3-point line. She's been attacking. Morgan Molly exploiting the mismatch, showing her prowess on the interior. And then Emma Ronsick, she's hit a couple threes. She's run rim to rim. The 3 of them, Kevin, have combined for 38 of Creighton's 42 first half points.
It's incredible. You know it's coming from that trio, though it's just still so hard to defend. Jim Flannery talked about that all week. Hey, we're a tough scout if you have a short amount of time to plan for us. So Lauren Betts at the bottom there, she finished with 14 points, 12 of which in that first quarter. Look at the final note. Creighton unbeaten this year when leading at the half.
Very interesting. interesting note. And we know this is a Creighton team that has been in this position before. Just 2 years ago, same situation, second round on the road at a sold-out Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City, and they took down Iowa and advanced to the program's first ever Elite Eight. And it's a lot of the same players on the floor, so they are comfortable with this moment.
Knocked out Caitlin Clark a couple of years ago. Can they do it again today? The turnovers were problematic for UCLA in that first half. There's Mallory Brake's first basket of the night.
UCLA has to be extremely crisp in their offense right now. Down 10, the Creighton team very comfortable playing with the lead. Everything has to be on point and minimizing the turnovers.
UCLA in the first shot 42% from the floor. A lot of that production came from Betts. That time Brake and Molly affecting the shot at the rim and watched it roll off. Jensen, a quick trigger, left it short. And let's see if Rice can get going as well. Dugalich on the attack. Way off with the layup, and Betts is fouled. So Lauren Betts headed to the free throw line for the first time today. Betts with 14 and 6 boards.
And a quick sub for Corey Close. Less than a minute into the game, getting Gabriela Jaquez maybe a little bit more size. Maybe not happy with something that happened with London Jones.
Betts just 62% at the line this year. She has been the dominant force, the all-conference post player, also landed on the all-defensive team this year in the Pac-12. Offensive board gives Rice another look at the rim. Couldn't finish with the left hand.
Great help defense from Emma Rancic as Kiki Rice blew by the front line.
A trip to the Sweet 16 on the line today in Westwood. We've already seen 1-2 seed go down. Yesterday, that was Ohio State, lost to Duke. There's a foul on that screening action. And it's another on Charisma Osborne. That's her second. There you go. A couple of lower seeded teams have advanced in the second round. The most notable, no doubt, was the 7 seed Duke defeating Ohio State and Columbus yesterday. The two other examples were 5 seeds over 4s. Pretty evenly matched games. Mogensen finds Jensen. Jaquez with the board and a tie-up. Mallory Brake comes flying in to force the jump ball. Possession arrow favors Creighton.
Bruins fan wanted a foul. I'd have to see it again before I make a judgment, but this Creighton team is just staying aggressive. Mallory Brake not going to back down.
Jensen off the screen. Jensen left it short. Dugalich wants it. That's a big three. There's a jump ball. Possession arrow favors the Bruins. And so this pavilion comes to life for the first time in a while.
Charisma Osborne, 2-time all Pac-12 defensive team. 5th-year senior. Sometimes a little bit of a light starts going on when you recognize this could be my final college game. She's making the effort on the defensive end.
Dugalich from the same spot. A bit too strong that time. Osborne tried to chase it down. Mogensen, though, has it. Little backcourt pressure from UCLA. And Jensen quickly rushes it across the timeline. It's a 7-point game now early in the third.
And when we talked to Corey Close about the main focuses with them, pressure was the #1 important word in terms of pressuring this Creighton team, making them feel uncomfortable. But Morgan Molly, man, she continues to look real comfortable out there.
She's got that hierarchy now into double figures for a 9th straight game. Dugalich looking for Betts. Offensive foul. They say she hooked Molly that time with the left arm.
Corey Close, livid, marching down the sideline. Let's take another look at it. Oh, yeah, I mean, that's a clear hook.
Yeah.
Clear, not even a question. The official on the backside, I mean, if they don't call that, that is a big miss for them. Correct call. Corey Close didn't have a good angle from her vantage point of that backside hook.
Yeah, I'm with you, partner. Jensen trying to wreak some havoc. Betts throws it up. Rebound down to Rice. Rice with 7 points, just 2 of 6 shooting from the floor. Dumps it in. Betts turns, got it with the left.
She's staying aggressive, and Creighton has gone back really to start this second half to just a single coverage on Betts right now, which is something they did in that UNLV game once they had the lead against Desiree Young. They kind of let her get 30.
These UCLA guards, they were hounding both Jensen and Mogensen that time, and so Mogensen and Osborne, they trade a couple of, looks like for maybe some friendly fire, if you will. Melissa Barlow came running in. That's just a couple of veterans, perhaps.
Yeah, nothing ill-intentioned there, just a little chirping. Official had a quick speed, though. She was in there. She was breaking it up.
40
quick
times.
first step.
Third foul, though, on Osborne, so that becomes notable. Those two, they have battled for much of the day, Osborne and Mogensen. So Osborne has to take a seat. To your point, this is a double-figure scorer. Just the rock, the foundation for this program, as Corey Close likes to say.
Yeah, we'll see how long Coach Close leaves her out. I don't know if she would go the this full third quarter out if Creighton maintains or extends their lead.
So Brown, the fifth-year senior on the floor. She's guarding Molly. Molly trying to go to work. Off balance, fadeaway. Rebound to Betts. UCLA in a hurry, trying to push. Rice picks it up. Jaquez. Near turnover. Fumbles to Jaquez. Throws it up. That's in.
Gabriela Jaquez has to stay aggressive. She's probably been the toughest matchup so far when she has hunted her shots and been aggressive going to the rim.
Jensen the blow by. The floater. Jaquez pulls down the board. That's now 9 rebounds for Jaquez. To Rice in attack mode. Gets fouled. And Kiki Rice, as heading back to the free throw line as this place starts to erupt again.
Ooh, yeah, this building has gotten quite loud across the last couple of possessions. Charisma Osborne having to take a seat with 3 fouls. The stellar sophomore Kiki Rice keeping her foot on the gas. She should really have the advantage at breaking down the defense every time. She's got to stay aggressive.
The 2-year starter runs the offense for UCLA. So remember, this is now 4 straight years. Every NCAA Women's Championship game, it's on our ESPN family of networks. For more info, go to ncaa.com. It's your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Who is going to be in Cleveland for the Final Four? April 5th and 7th. UCLA has never been there. Can they do it this year? Back within 3 after a 9-2 run. Wants it, couple of jab steps. Betts plays off of her. Rice knocked it away. Horan on the floor. Another tie-up. That should favor Creighton. So the Blue Jays keep it here.
This is typically a time where you'd probably see a coach call a timeout. The media is approaching, but this is a veteran group. Jim Flannery trusting his group to play through this a little bit to get to the under 5 timeout.
Remember, shot clock doesn't reset, so Creighton has 7 seconds to work with. 5:17 to go in the third. Dugalich just got whistled there for the warning. You can't lean, of course, over the sideline to affect the inbound pass. You got to stay vertical and straight up. Molly going to work on Brown. Goes up with the left. That's good. Morgan Molly with another impressive bucket.
Tough bucket. Big-time bucket to silence this crowd a little bit, who's taken a seat after getting really involved in this game.
Brown out of perimeter threat. Hands off to Rice. Rice, the step back three. Puts it in. And UCLA back within 2. Jensen, the off-balance runner, that's there. A nice response. So the Blue Jays, they have responded a couple of times in the midst of this UCLA torrid run.
And that is just smooth and steady from Lauren Jensen. Difficult shot there, well contested by Kiki Rice.
Rice going back to the line after the foul on Haran. So Creighton's double-digit lead down to 4.
The UCLA Bruins storming back. The crowd is in this one. Kiki Rice cashing out.
So let's take a look at tonight's Star Stories, brought to you by Honda. For the Blue Jays, it's the big 3, and for the Bruins, it's Betts.
Yeah, the big 3 certainly living up to the hype. Everybody 13 or more, and Lauren Betts has really been incredibly efficient when they've been able to find her. 8 of 13 from the floor. I'll add my own star. Kiki Rice here has picked things up when Charisma Osborne, the veteran, the 5th-year guard, had to go to the bench with 5th fouls. Kiki Rice has really dialed up the intensity here to fuel this run for the Bruins.
I think we can add the right in. It's appropriate. Well, Rice is now going back to the line. At times when UCLA has needed somebody to step up, Rice has answered the call. She is good at slashing to the paint, good driver. The sophomore from outside of DC, remember the #2 rated recruit in the class of 2022, McDonald's All-American, co-MVP as well, and decided to take her talents to UCLA. Molly misfires from deep, and so UCLA, which hasn't led since late in the first quarter, has a chance maybe with a 3 to do so here. Betts, meanwhile, ties it up.
And that started with a big defensive rebound for Gabriela Hawkins, who now has 10 rebounds in under 20 minutes of play.
UCLA outscoring Creighton 16-8 this quarter. Jensen fouled by Brown. Got a little too aggressive there. 14th foul on UCLA.
UCLA needs to stay intentional about trying to keep Lauren Betts active, reading how Creighton's defending her. That time a little bit of a double team, but at 6'7", as long as she's able to make the catch within a couple feet of the rim, more than likely she's going to finish over the top. She's going to take a little bit of a breather here.
Sontak gives her a blow. Sontak trying to knock away the inbound pass. Mogensen back to Jensen. Couple of jab steps, starts the dribble. Brown cut her off. Brown trying to hound her this time. Now with 7 to shoot, Mogensen improvises. Mogensen from 15. Missed everything. Here comes UCLA with a chance to take a lead. This is Rice. Got it! Timeout Creighton. And the Bruins have come back from 10 down to retake a lead.
The sophomore, Kiki Rice, will not be denied. Kiki Rice right to the rack. UCLA has taken the lead.
Let's look at today's game track. It's brought to you by Invesco QQQ. UCLA has erased the 8-point halftime deficit. And look, Kim, how they flipped this thing in the second half.
UCLA now up to 60% shooting, and to me, Kevin, it's come from the defensive end. There has been a palpable uptick in defensive intensity. This is really the first time in the game. Hey, John Legend in the house with his adorable daughter. I got a fellow Penn grad. Love to see that.
Yeah.
We're told he is good friends with Kiki Rice and family, so he has to be loving what he's seeing from Kiki at the moment.
Listen, last game for UCLA in this building. John Legend is here, Earl Watson, a couple of former John Wooden players and All-Americans. Jamal Wilkes was here the other day. Ann Myers in the building. So the UCLA Stars are out. This is Dugalich, pounds it with the right hand. Wild layup. That's off of Ronsik's fingertips. And shot clock does not reset. 7 seconds. Into the hands of Rice. She'll create once again. A couple of crossovers. Here's a step back three. Jensen got a piece of it. So that's a great defensive play by Lauren Jensen. And Creighton takes over with 2:31 to go in the third quarter, now trailing by 2.
Well, UCLA keeping up the defensive intensity, putting on a full court press here. A little bit of a smaller, quicker lineup with Betts on the bench. And I was starting to say it there, but there has been a noticeable shift in intensity. And we go back to that word that Corey Close said, #1 most important thing, pressure. And this is the first time I've seen Creighton look a bit uncomfortable offensively.
They're going to get Sonntag for the foul. So that's the 5th foul on UCLA. Again, some of the intangibles helping Creighton. The UCLA turnovers were problematic in that first half, and so this whistle now sends Creighton back to the free throw line, where they've only taken 3 freebies. They're 3 of 3, but they're automatic at the line. They're the best free throw shooting team in the nation, and Molly cans the first.
And that's certainly something to keep in mind if you keep it close with Creighton and it comes down to free throw battle. I mean, they are literally #1 in the country, better than 80% as a team.
14 points for Molly. It's a 1-point game in Westwood. These two met 6 years ago in the round of 32. It was a blowout. Who's moving on to the Sweet 16 later tonight? Osborne trying to get going in this third quarter. Misfires, trying to chase it down. Got it. New 20. Rice, aggressive attack, and draws the foul.
And for a long period of time, Creighton had gotten much better on securing the first defensive rebound, but that's becoming a problem in this game again. Now 11 offensive rebounds for UCLA, 10-second chance points with a chance for 2 more here.
Let's remind you the men's basketball championship continues Thursday with the Sweet 16. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on TBS and CBS. Go to NCAA.com for more. So the Creighton women's squad, they are trying to join their counterparts in the other tournament. The Creighton men's program now reaching back-to-back Sweet 16s, a program first. This Blue Jays team here in Westwood, we've underscored it many times, 3rd straight NCAA tournament appearance. That's a record, so both programs continue to raise the ball. Lockett, wow, that's pure. Keani Lockett with another basket. Now she has 4. The sophomore from Minneapolis, not known for the scoring acumen, but these will help.
Yeah, pretty clutch moment going deep into the shot clock. Big 3, not able to get a touch, and a little float game is good.
Betts the cross-court feed to Hawkins. Inside of a minute now in the third quarter. This is Rice trying to put some more pressure on the Creighton defense. Gets the turnaround. Kiki Rice has started to come alive. It's another 20-point game. Back-to-back 20-point games for Rice. Ronsik falls on it. New 20 now for Creighton. Jensen open after the scramble. Yeah! Lauren Jensen cans another.
And Creighton wants to stay smart. Maybe that first one from Morgan Molly a little bit quick in the shot clock, but able to corral that offensive rebounds. And Jensen gets another look at it.
She answers Rice. She has 20 of her own. We are knotted up at 56. 10 seconds to go in the third. Brown comes to set the screen. Jaquez dumps it into Betts. Couple of dribbles. Break comes over and takes it away. 1 second. Ronsick doesn't get it off. But the stop is a valuable one, Kim, because we are going to the fourth quarter. All knotted up at 56. A trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. All right, let's check out tonight's most reliable player. It's brought to you by Xfinity. 13 in the quarter for Kiki Rice.
Kiki Rice had 20 in the first round win. She has 20 here through 3 quarters. She's showing the entire offensive arsenal. She's 5 of 10 from the floor, has drained a couple of triples, but maybe the best at getting downhill. She's drawn 5 fouls. She's gotten to the line for 8 attempts, and she has made all 8 of them, and she has really fueled this comeback. 13 of her team's last 15 points. Kiki Rice plays with maturity way beyond her sophomore status. She's playing like a senior, a vet, a 5th year out there. She's put the team on her back.
Went on a rampage there in that third quarter. She was the #2 recruit in the class of 2022, is the crown jewel of this vaunted class of sophomores now still on this Bruins roster. Corey Close challenged her. Hey, just play free. Have you seen that today?
We've seen it. She's loose. She's having fun. She's looking for her shots. And this is as good as it gets. All tied up. Sweet 16 trip on the line.
56 up in the round of 32. Creighton trying to force another steal. Osborne and then a bevy of Blue Jays were on the floor there. There's a tie-up. And yeah, the possession arrow favors Creighton. Corey Close wanted maybe a foul. Now, talk about one of the better coaches in America and has been doing it at a high level here in Westwood for many years. Close's 13th year as the head coach. This is her second #1 overall recruiting class. Look at the players that she brought in a year ago. Now, she had to wait one more go-around to get Betts. Betts broke her heart, she told us. She was joking with us when she decided to choose Stanford over UCLA. Sparse minutes for Betts in her 1 season in the Bay Area, so she hits the portal. Close called her up immediately. Her visit to UCLA was the 3rd of 3 after South Carolina and Notre Dame, and Corey Close had to sweat it out there, but she ultimately said coming to play for the Bruins was the right fit at the right time. Ronsick off-balance jumper, rebounded by Rice. The Creighton offensive firepower has cooled off in the second half. Betts, relentless, gets fouled on the inside. That's another on Molly. And so when Betts, she was visiting with the team here, and again, Coach Close had everybody over. She announced the commitment at dinner at Coach Close's house, and she said, listen, if you come to UCLA, I'm doing the cold plunge. So she had to do it on the spot there. That was during Betts' recruiting visit this past spring after she transferred away from Stanford.
It is Southern California, but Coach Close claims it was a chilly night. You saw the hoodies.
Yeah.
And she said that is the only way I will jump in this pool fully closed is with a Lauren Betts commitment.
UCLA back in front by 2. The Bruins are trying to make it back-to-back appearances in the Sweet 16. Jensen off the screen, open from 15. Break, had it, lost it, and UCLA takes it.
Official changed his call on the spot. And UCLA's gotten what they wanted on these last couple of defensive possessions. They've gotten Creighton to take tough twos. They're not giving them open looks at the perimeter. They're not allowing them to slip and curl for easy layups. They've been taking contested, longer, deep twos.
50% overall, but they're just 35% shooting in this second half. That's enabled UCLA to erase a once 10-point deficit. And that work on the offensive and defensive glass is going a long way. They're plus 15 you just saw there on the glass.
Essentially doubling up Creighton.
Wonderful battle in this round of 32 melee in Westwood. Jaquez is open. No. Missed everything, and Brake comes down with the board, but she stumbled, so that's a travel. Now she's asking for a little bit of contact there as to why she fumbled to the ground. Nevertheless, it's UCLA ball.
All of these possessions so critical. Let's see what we see here. I thought she may have gotten it off right before that knee hitting the ground, but officials may have had a better look at it.
Betts back out to Douglas. She can hit this. Another from deep. Creighton calls a timeout. UCLA is back in front by 5 with 8:13 to go in the fourth quarter.
Creighton electing to send a strong double team to Lauren Betts. Beautiful dribble and pass out, and Douglas drains it. UCLA up 5.
Good feeling tonight, killing haters over.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? In a building that has housed a lot of champions, who will continue marching on in this championship in Westwood? UCLA, the 2 seed, its highest seed in program history, with a 5-point lead. So it's time to get more, brought to you by Geico. Kim, how about this duo of Lauren Betts and Kiki Rice, the all-conference pair? Each have gone for 20 tonight.
Well, after UCLA's Pac-12 semifinal loss to USC, a double overtime loss, Corey Close wanted to get more balance from the inside-out game. She wanted to get Lauren Betts more touches, and they have certainly struck that balance today perfectly. 20 points for Betts, 20 points for Kiki Rice. Inside, outside damage. It's been tough to defend for Creighton. They've had to pick and choose how they want to favor certain matchups. And right now, UCLA is just playing extremely well out of double teams, and the perimeter game is picked up.
Well, and particularly on this end of the floor as well. They have held Creighton to just 33% shooting now in this second half. They were red hot for a while, particularly in the second quarter. Built a 10-point lead. That's gone. UCLA with a 5-point edge. 2 to shoot. Jensen has to realize it. Hoists it. Missed everything. And some more vexing defense by this Bruin team in crunch time.
This is now multiple second half possessions where UCLA has defended a full 30 seconds, forced Creighton have to take it down to the ticking moments of the shot clock and force up a prayer. And you see the difference there, first half to second half, for the Big Three being held to just 10 points for 14 shooting.
That all Big East trio has gone cold. Douglas trying to take Motley off the bounce, picks up the dribble. This is Rice, and an errant pass is knocked away. Creighton takes over.
Creighton really needs one of those settle the team down buckets from one of their Big Three.
Jensen trying to get free. Rice is all over her. It's another good defensive sequence for UCLA. Ronsick off-balance jumper. Douglas secures it.
Creighton can't even get off a clean pass right now because of how well the UCLA guards are defending the perimeter, denying passes.
Jaquez lets it go. Bounces out.
I think Creighton needs to push a little bit more. They're having such a tough time in the half-court defense playing against that. They got to try to get some easy ones.
This is Molly, the high archer. That 3 is offline. Break trying to save it. She does, but it rolls right to Betts.
They are just stringing together stop after stop. Creighton's exerting a lot of energy on that end, running around trying to find an opening, but they simply can't get a clean one.
The Blue Jays 0 of 5 from the field to start this fourth. Jaquez draws the foul on Creighton with 5:56 to go in the fourth. That's the 13th foul on the Blue Jays. That's the third on Mallory Break.
Jim Flannery putting in Jamie Horan, taking out Mallory Break to force UCLA to have to play a little bit more honest defense. They're really playing off of Mallory Break. Jamie Horan can knock it down.
Rice working off the screen, probes the baseline, puts it up and in. Turning in a fine second half, 15 of her 22 after halftime. This is UCLA's largest lead of the day. They're up 7. And at the most critical time, 5.5 to go.
The ball pressure, the denials, it is nonstop.
Well, there's a clean look that you've been talking about. Creighton finally gets. That's their first field goal in this fourth quarter.
And that's how you want to attack the overplay, the heavy denial. You want to try to get some backdoor cuts. Finally, a little bit of a deep breath for Creighton. Can they build upon it?
Rice again, steps into the mid-range. That's good.
Kiki Rice is surgical right now. The game is moving in slow motion. She's reading the defense. She knows where to take her shots. It's incredible to watch.
24 is one off her career high, so having one of her better offensive performances in this round of 32 battle. There's Jensen into the paint. That's a difficult shot, and Rice with the pressure. Rice now eyes up. She pulls it back out to initiate some stuff. 20 points in the first round victory over Cal Baptist. She's got 24 today to go along with 6 boards and 3 assists. They keep it in her hands. Rice with the left hand, back out to Dugalich. 4 seconds to shoot. That one's pinballed around. And so another careless pass leads to a Creighton takeaway. Horan. Inside of 4 minutes now in this second round matchup. Molly goes up with the left. Count it! And the foul. So Morgan Molly, the senior, has a chance to get it back to a 3-point game here.
Big bucket for Morgan Molly, staying aggressive. She loves this little back down fadeaway move. Not only gets the 2, but gets a shot for 3.
This free throw, rather, would get it back to a 4-point game. So 18 points for Morgan Molly, the senior from Creighton, Nebraska. Grew up about an hour and 15 from Omaha. Now with 1,500 career points, though she misses a critical one at the line.
90% free throw shooter.
She's missed twice today at the stripe. Still a 5-point game in Westwood. Winner advances to face LSU in the Sweet 16 next weekend. Osborne peels back out. This is Jaquez now. Drive and kick into Rice's hands. Has to hoist it up with 2. Way off. Misses everything, and Creighton takes over with 3:20 to play.
That was something UCLA worked on a lot in shoot-around today, was taking the possession deep into the shot clock and still getting a good look. So that time didn't quite get what Corey Close was hoping for. Every possession so critical against a Creighton team that can light it up from 3.
It's been a tense one in Southern California, but the home team has the 5-point edge. Townsend works off the screen, runs it, free for a moment, misses the 3. And Jaquez down with another rebound, so that's her 11. She's got another double-double.
She has been everywhere, just flying around, and now UCLA playing a little time and score here. Not looking to push, looking to take the clock down.
I take it back. She's 2 points away. Here she's got 8. This will give her the double-double. This fires from deep. And so the door is open for Creighton again. 2.5 to play. And Jim Flannery's asking for the timeout, so he uses one here. It's his second to last timeout with 2.5 to go. UCLA by 5. They have been fueled by their all-conference engine. That's Kiki Rice. She is tonight's Capital One rewarding performance.
Yeah, we know just how good Kiki Rice is, but this may be the brightest her star has shined on a big stage here. So much on the line, and she has risen to the occasion time and time again, looking for her shots. Versatility in the offense, 24 points, perfect from the free throw line. 6 rebounds, a couple of assists. Kiki Rice looking like a vet out there.
She is so driven. This whole team, we've watched it in practice these last couple of days. They are so committed to the process and the prep, Rice in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Close told us she writes in her journal every day, Final Four. And Coach Close says, you know, that's different for every player. I like to stay more in the moment, but Kiki Rice certainly has big aspirations for herself and her team, more importantly.
They survived the gauntlet that was the Pac-12. They won 13 games, finished second. Second time they finished second place in the league in the Corey Close era. And there's a foul on Osborne. Flannery was waiting for that whistle. They thought it was a half a beat late. Regardless, that's the third team foul and the fourth on the next level senior. That's Charisma Osborne.
Yeah, it's been a tough night for her. Just has never really been able to get into a rhythm. Just 3 points. She was so big in the first round win.
The previous foul is under review for a potential upgrade.
So our officials are at the replay review monitor over there, and so I would think they're just going to take a look at whether or not there was contact to the head or neck area.
Yeah, well, they played the replay in the arena, and the UCLA crowd went crazy. So I wonder if they're looking at something on Creighton. We're about to find out for ourselves. It looked like a flop, honestly. I don't even think a foul was really there. That's a flop to me. It was called. A foul was called on Osborne. Unless they're looking at something else, there's certainly nothing to be upgraded there. I think that was an incorrect foul call. It's a tough fourth on Charisma Osborne.
You know, let's bring in,
maybe from that angle we saw a little bit to the face.
I want to bring in Lisa Mattingly here, because Lisa, we know in the women's game you have the faking being fouled call. It's not called a flop on the women's side. It's called faking being fouled. Can they actually, you know, can they adjudicate that here, our officials at the monitor?
Yes, actually, if they get to the monitor and determine that there was no contact on that play, they can. And then they can also issue a warning for faking being fouled. So we'll see what they come away with here. From the angle that I saw, I don't see anything that would warrant an intentional foul or any kind of upgrade for sure.
Yeah. And so if nothing is added on here, it's just the third team foul on UCLA.
After review, the call of common foul on the floor is confirmed. It did not rise to the level of an intentional foul.
And so we appreciate Lisa's insight there. Women's Basketball Hall of Famer, coordinator of officials for several conferences. So Creighton here keeps it with a new shot clock, 2:17 to go in the fourth.
Yeah, I still think that's a tough fourth on Charisma. And if I'm correct, I don't think you couldn't take the foul away from Charisma. But either way, that's a tough fourth on her.
Osborne stays out there with 2:12 to go. Winner moving on to face LSU in the Sweet 16. The loser season is over. Mogensen buries a three. Molly Mogensen with a critical triple, her first of the night.
I was looking at that mismatch develop. Again, you pull out 6'7" to the perimeter. Solid jab step to get a little space. Molly Mogensen cashes it.
One possession game. UCLA trailed 8 at the break. Took a 5-point lead earlier. And it's back to a 2-point game. And so Corey Close uses one of her timeouts. She has 2 left with 1:37 to go.
all night, Creighton has done a really solid job of identifying mismatches. This time it's your point guard being defended by the 6'7" forward. Just fundamental jab step. Gets Lauren Betts off balance, take a step or two back. And Molly Mogensen, who is a 42% three-point shooter, brings this back to a one-possession game. Big-time shot.
So you see, Creighton has one timeout left. UCLA has two. Neither team is in the bonus just yet. That possession arrow favors UCLA with 1:37 to go in this decisive fourth quarter. One last chance to remind you, it's been 4 years running now. Every NCAA Women's Championship game is on our ESPN family of networks. For more information on tip times and matchups, go to ncaa.com. Who will be in Cleveland April 5th and 7th for the Final Four? You see the national championship game on ABC Sunday, April 7th. Jim Flannery's team, they were so close a couple of years ago, made that run to the Elite Eight, the deepest run in program history, knocking out Caitlin Clark and the Hawkeyes in the round of 32. They had a 10-point lead in this second round battle in Westwood. They lost it, however, they're back within 2.
Let's see if they try to get it into Betts here. Just 10 seconds, sideline out of bounds. Mismatch.
Osborne in the paint, the runner is good. UCLA back in front by 4.
And we talked about this has not been her greatest night offensively. Just got her 4th foul, but comes up with a big 2.
Jensen can't get open, so Lockett starts to create. Lockett picks up the dribble. 10 to shoot. Here's Jensen. One of the premier scorers, drives, goes up with the right, too far underneath, and hit the bottom of the backboard. Inside of a minute now. 50 seconds to go. So if you're Creighton, you can certainly afford to play this one out. You need the stop.
And they still have the foul to give, but they are going to play this one straight up here. 2-possession game.
Rice been on a rampage this second half. Gives it to Osborne. 4 to shoot. Osborne got it blocked. Mogensen gathers it. Creighton on the move. 25 seconds. Gotta get something in a hurry. They're down 2 possessions. Jensen with 19. Down to Molly. And Flannery uses the timeout with 16.7. That's his final timeout with his team down 2 scores with 16.7 to go.
And he's confirming the officials where they're going to get it, which looks like it'll be a baseline out of bounds as we look back at this clutch bucket from Charisma Osborne as the shot clock was winding down, just stays with it, fights through the defense. Just her 5th point of the night, but that is why Charisma Osborne came back to this university for a 5th year, putting off the WNBA draft to try to push her team to a Sweet 16 and beyond.
The winner of this one faces the defending national champs that blew by Middle Tennessee State in the final 13 minutes of that game yesterday, who is marching on to the Sweet 16, this part of the Albany 2 regional next weekend. Iowa holds off West Virginia. It'll face Colorado. And so we await the final piece to the puzzle, if you will. Remember, the Bruins were down 10 in the 3rd quarter. Stormed all the way back. At one point had a 7-point lead earlier in this 4th quarter. Creighton, though, did not go away. And so these Blue Jays, they've got it with 16.7 to go, but they got to work quickly here and get a good look.
Typically very good out of timeouts. Let's see if they try to get a switch and a mismatch like they have done all game.
Lockett heaves it out to Molly. Molly guarded by Dugalich. Dugalich with some tight defense. Over to Jensen. 10 seconds. Jensen leaves it short. Mogensen got it. 6 seconds. Blocked by Dugalich. It's a tie-up. Possession arrow favors UCLA, and the Bruins take it with 3.6 to go. Dugalich with a clutch block.
even before the block, it was incredibly well defended. Creighton trying to get the ball in the hands of Morgan. Molly forced up a tough three, and then who's right in the middle of it? Charisma Osborne. Coach Close talked to us.
Ball. We are going to look for any unobserved illegal upgraded foul.
Coach Close talked to us about passion plays, and they try to get 75 of those per game. I would say that's got to be one high up on the list. Let's take a look. The officials said they're going to look for something potentially upgraded, like maybe an elbow swing from Charisma Osborne.
You know, if you're Osborne, I think Osborne's just being physical with the ball there. I don't see anything that would necessarily warrant an upgrade. She's got 3 Blue Jays draped all over her.
I don't know what else she could really do as she tries to maintain possession of the ball, battling 3 defenders. I think that was what they might look at is, was it a basketball play? They're looking at, is it excessive? I don't think it was. I think it's a basketball motion, just trying to keep possession, try to wrangle off 3 defenders.
I think she might get a couple of passion points, maybe 2 in that situation. That's worth a bit more than just 1. They're weighted differently down the stretch. The story of the second half, if you will, UCLA's defense, they locked in for much of this fourth quarter.
It's been incredible. They have completely forced Creighton out of feeling comfortable, out of feeling in a rhythm. Let's see if we get the official explanation here. We didn't get the microphone
Corey Close
explanation.
she just called a timeout. So, and with that, it appears that UCLA is going to keep possession. Let's get the final assessment.
After review, there is no unsportsmanlike activity to be penalized. UCLA has called timeout and will advance the ball.
So there it is. It's the tie-up, and so the possession arrow critical. It favored UCLA there. Osborne, the 5th-year senior, the next-level player from Moreno Valley, California, is the one who got her hands on it.
And UCLA really just needs some clean inbounds here. It's still a 2-possession game, and Creighton only has 3 fouls. So Creighton obviously going to try for a quick steal here, but the first foul won't even send UCLA to the free throw line.
Time is just not on the Blue Jays side. Dugalich, or make it Sontak Parton to inbound. Couple seconds come off. Rice gets fouled. So rather, it was about 9/10 of a second that came off. And again, Creighton has to foul one more time just to send them to the line. Even if a Bruins player makes them both, it still remains a 2-possession game, but you're going to be inside of 2 seconds at that point if you're Creighton.
Kiki Rice, 8 of 8 from the line, try to get the ball in her hands.
To Rice, 2 seconds. Creighton doesn't foul. Game over. UCLA headed back to the Sweet 16 after erasing a double-digit second-half deficit. They storm back, and it's now back-to-back Sweet 16 appearances for the Bruins.
What an impressive second half, specifically for UCLA. The defensive end of the floor completely changed. Huge game from Kiki Rice. Lauren Betts was huge as well, 20 points in her tournament debut.
Final, UCLA 67, Creighton 63. Hope you enjoyed it. We did. For Kim Adams and our entire great crew, I'm Kevin Fitzgerald saying so long from Westwood. Let's get you out to Spokane now. Utah Gonzaga coming up.